What's going on, everybody? It's your boy JP, back again with another video, and today I have the OnePlus 10 Pro 5G. Let's see, let me turn the screen brightness on this down a little bit here. Give me a second here, y'all. I want to turn that automatic off there for now there. There we go, there we go. And, let's see, it's taken me long enough to do this video. I actually had this phone, about a week before it even hit retail. I think it came out on April 15th or 14th or something like that, and I had it a week before that. And I was really meaning to get this video out before it hit retail, because y'all have, my longtime viewers, y'all know I like that. My videos aren't that great. So besides going over bands and frequencies, as a lot of people expect from me, as I even forget sometimes, unfortunately, another thing that I try to do is be the first to bring some of these phones. Not a lot of them, but some of them. I saw Flossie Carter yesterday already bring the Pogo F4 GT, and I've been waiting on that phone, and I definitely wanted to because I think a couple years ago I was one of the first to do one on the Pogo F2, but nonetheless, he obviously has an inside with Xiaomi, because you can't even buy the Pogo F4 GT anyways unless you're good with Xiaomi in some way. But nonetheless, y'all know I do try to bring a lot of devices first, like I did with the Blue's first 5G phone, the F91. I had a chance to be one of the first with this, but I still don't see many, but, it is what it is. Nonetheless, y'all probably, if you're watching this video, you probably already know a lot about this phone. Snapdragon 8 Gen 1, 8 gigs of RAM, 128 gigs internal, in-display fingerprint sensor. It is a curved 6.7-inch Quad HD 1440, 120 Hz LTPO 2.0 display, and it is just absolutely gorgeous. It is curved, as I said, but the curves are very minimalistic. Very nice. The Hasselblad camera on this, it's second generation. They are very good on this phone. It has a very nice black satin finish. If you look at it on camera, it looks like a sandblast texture. If you're seeing it, and I know the camera can pick that up pretty well there, you would think it would be like a like a sandblast texture, because it looks like it, but it's not. It's a smooth. I think it's Gorilla Glass Victus. It might be Gorilla Glass 5. It's either 5 or Victus right here, but it's not plastic. It is glass, but it's not it's kind of an illusion though, because you see it on camera and you would think it was a sandstone finish or sandblast, however you want to say it, and it's not. It looks it though, and it's, to me, it's absolutely gorgeous. It's not completely matte. It's a little slick, but it's somewhat matte. It just feels really good in the hand. It feels really freaking premium, honestly. It's definitely one of the most premium feeling phones I have had in my palms in a very long time. You can see how subtle the curve is. The curve on this phone is done right, in my opinion. If you're going to do a curve, it's done right on this phone. They did a fantastic job on the curve. I don't like curved screens. They're kind of not in anymore. But OnePlus did it right. If you're gonna have to have one, they did it right. It's a very thin phone. The camera bump is very minimalistic. It's not as bad as it looks on camera. I think it's gorgeous, honestly. There's your Type C, your speakers. There's no headphone jack. Excuse my sinuses there, y'all. I'm not sick or anything. I just sounded for some reason. But there's your power button. There's your volume, your alert switch, your alert slider that OnePlus keeps on their flagships, and I absolutely love that. That's something so small. Like, it's not a deal breaker. It's not something I have to have on any of my phones. It's not a deal breaker. The lack of that is not going to make me It's not gonna make me decide to buy or not to buy a phone. But every time I get a OnePlus that has that alert slider, I absolutely love it. I'm always like, man, I wish more phones had this. And I really think at some point OnePlus is going to end up doing away with it on their flagships, anyways, because the flagships are the only phones that have it. And I have a feeling at some point they're going to let it go. I really hope they don't, though, because I really like it. It's something that your iPhones have always had that I've always loved as well, you know. But anyways, there is your 65-watt Super VOOC charger and your red cable. Red cable gang, stand up. There's your stickers and your other material literature. OnePlus 10 Pro, Hasselblad. Again, I know a lot of you have probably already, read up on this phone if you're watching this video. You probably wouldn't even pull this video up if you're not interested in the phone. One of the things, the biggest downfall of this phone is that 5G does not work on AT&T. And it kills me because it has the band N5 NR, which is the frequency for AT&T 5G. And, there's Motorola phones that also have band 5. Your phones from the US that have band 5 that also don't work on AT&T 5G, like the Motorola Edge Plus 2022. And the thing about that phone is that when I pull up the app Force LTE from the Google Play Store, I can't change the settings because they have it grayed out. On this phone, with Force LTE, I can go in the settings and change it to NR, but it doesn't do anything. So it's just as if it's grayed out. It lets me toggle it, but it doesn't do anything. Again, this, like the Motorola, it's not certified for AT&T 5G, but I have tons and tons of uncertified, 5G, AT&T compatible phones that I'm able to get working with Force LTE. And I'm talking foreign phones. And even with AT&T's changes that they made in February, which let me get it out now. I'm about to leave them because I'm not okay with that at all. But I'll save that for a different story. Because I'm happy to say that T-Mobile in my area now is freaking banging. I test T-Mobile out every 4 to 6 months, 2-3 times a year, and every single time they get better and better and better. And now, man, they're I think they are finally there. They are finally there. There's one little other area at my job that I needed to work at that I really need to test to make sure it's going to work before I make the full-on switch. But, it's time. Because phones like this and the Motorola Edge Plus 2022, they're certified for T-Mobile 5G. And all of these foreign phones that all of a sudden they stopped working on AT&T because AT&T won't allow VoLTE to work on them. They say, oh, it doesn't have VoLTE, but they do. T-Mobile doesn't have that problem. And I'm just, I was watching a video from somebody yesterday who's also an AT&T customer, and he made the video a few months ago, and I just seen it yesterday. But he was saying, AT&T is going to have what's coming to them. Unfortunately, they're going to end up losing a lot of people because of that. Not a lot, I'm sure. It may or may not hurt them. Because I'm sure I'm a very small percentage. I'm sure that there's very few people on AT&T that are like me and do what I do. I'm probably a 1%er. Maybe a 2%er. You know what I'm saying? Not to sound like a motorcycle club there. But, and those of you that know what that means. That's not a good thing. But yeah, it's sad though. It's sad because this is a U.S. sold phone and it has the frequency for AT&T 5G and it won't even work. I think the fact that the Motorola Edge Plus 2022 doesn't work is even sadder because this phone right here still ships out of the country from Hong Kong, I think, whereas the Motorola is widely available. You can literally go to Best Buy and buy it now. Well, actually, I think this phone you can too now. But but when you order it to ship, when it first came out, it was shipping from Hong Kong. You know, because I mean, even your Red Magic phones are shipping from California now, not Hong Kong. And even when they were shipping from Hong Kong, they worked on 5G. They work on 5G now. I'm recording this using the Red Magic 7 Pro, and it gets 5G on AT&T just fine, just like the regular Red Magic 7 was that I had a month and a half ago. But I digress. It's just, it is what it is, man. It sucks, honestly. But this phone does have the frequencies for AT&T 5G, but you're not gonna get it. It's only gonna get LTE. I've tried every kind of trickery, hidden menu, hidden setting. I mean, unless rooting it can do something, and I haven't been into rooting and jailbreaking phones in years now. And being that this phone is so new with the latest Android, OS 12, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if a root didn't exist for this phone yet. It does have Oxygen OS 12, which is a huge plus. OnePlus did back out of merging Oxygen OS with Oppo's Color OS, and I know a lot of people are very happy about that. Honestly, I know I've made videos saying that I was okay with that because I actually do like Oppo's Color OS because it's the same as Realme's Realme UI. It's the same as Color OS, and I've had a lot of Realme and Oppo phones, and their phones are their phones have really been just like Oxygen OS, but they've had even more customizations than Oxygen OS already had. Yeah, more gimmicky than useful, which is the opposite of Oxygen OS, but they've kept the things that made Oxygen OS so great as well, while adding those things, and you don't have to use those things, I mean, it definitely wasn't gimmicky on the terms of Samsung's TouchWiz or Nature UI, if y'all remember, their interfaces before One UI. Because I mean, really, I don't even consider One UI to really be any better than Color OS. I mean, that's just me. Oxygen OS, hey, I get it. I'm a big fan of Motorola's MyUX, or whatever they call it. That's stock Android or stockish Android, I should say. I get it. And honestly, when OnePlus backed out of that, right, they made that announcement right before they announced this phone for the global market back in March. And they said that they were no longer going to merge. The companies have already merged. The employees have merged, but they're not going to merge the operating systems. I had to say that even though I am a supporter of Oppo and Realme, a little part of me was, I'm not gonna lie, despite what I've said, I was a little happy. Because there is something truly special about Oxygen OS. There really is. And when I put it beside a Color OS powered device, the Oxygen OS just feels smoother, even just by a little bit. I will say that. So, go ahead and, hit me up in the comments and tell me I'm a hypocrite. It's okay, I'll take it. But I get it, though. I really do. Oxygen OS is what's up. It really is. I mean, the only other UI that I think can compete is Motorola's MyUX, if I'm saying it right. But nonetheless, though, fantastic phone, man. Really, I really think OnePlus nailed it. I haven't been a OnePlus fan in quite a while, and I've been thoroughly impressed with this phone. A lot of people have been, actually. With everything going up, OnePlus was still able to make this phone $70 cheaper than last year's OnePlus 9 Pro. That's a big deal. That's OnePlus trying to find their roots again. And it's not easy. It's not easy, and and I'm not saying it's not easy because OnePlus is trying to change back, and it's not easy to go back to your former glory. That's not even what it's about. Just the pandemic, everything's been made higher. I mean, your chip shortages, everything's going up. Produce, milk, bacon, cars, the computer chips that power all of these things. So, I mean, it's refreshing that OnePlus tried to make this phone actually cheaper than its predecessor. They don't have a vanilla OnePlus 10 yet. There's rumors that there will be one. I do know that earlier today, OnePlus did announce the 10R, which is not a phone for the U.S., but I'm sure that a regular vanilla 10 they would make for the U.S. Um, Today, I also know that excuse my phone vibrating, y'all. I got a call coming in, but I I what was I gonna say? I know that today also for the U.S. market specifically, they released the Nord N20 5G at T-Mobile and Metro, and I will get that. Whether I switch to T-Mobile, completely, with my main number or not, I am getting that phone and I will review it or do my overview, I should say. Y'all know these really aren't reviews. Uh, but nonetheless, um, I will get that phone for the channel. I do have the Motorola or the Moto G Stylus 5G 2022, the Red Magic 7 Pro, transparent edition, the Supernova. But yeah, the OnePlus 10 Pro is, if you're on the fence, if you were previously a huge OnePlus fan and you kind of feel like they lost their luster and you're just not big on them, but a part of you kind of wants to give them another try. The OnePlus 10 Pro, you will not go wrong with. You will not be disappointed. I mean, it's a fantastic phone. It really is. I have really enjoyed using it. Am I the big one? Am I back to being the big OnePlus fan that I once was? Not quite, but I can be again. I can see myself being a fan of theirs again. The N20, the Nord N20 5G. A lot of people are saying that it is the true OnePlus X successor. A lot of people are saying that it is OnePlus at their former flagship killer glory. Of course, it's nowhere near flagship killer. It's more like a premium mid-range killer. But a lot of their budget and mid-range phones haven't even had AMOLEDs. At least the ones available in the US anyways. The Nords available overseas have, but not the smaller N series. The Nord Ns haven't. The N20 does though. So that's pretty awesome. But nonetheless though, by the way, too, the front-facing camera looks really good on this phone, too. I'm sorry I don't have the megapixel counts, y'all. But y'all know me. I'm terrible about that. But, yeah. I'm just, I hope y'all have, I know I've done more yapping. I just want it to be kind of informative there. Another thing, too. They're not only trying to merge Oppo with OnePlus, but they're also trying to merge Vivo into the whole group as well, because Vivo's another one of those companies that's owned by BBK Electronics, the whole conglomerate. Because SuperVOOC, if I'm not mistaken, was originally a trademark of Vivo. It definitely wasn't OnePlus. If it wasn't OnePlus and it wasn't Vivo, then it was Oppo's. Pretty sure it was Vivo's term though for their super hyper fast charge whatever. But OnePlus didn't use that terminology. That was actually a Vivo term that they used for their phones. So it is insanely fast, by the way. This does have a 5,000 milliamp battery. It's bigger than its predecessor. And it's very long lasting. They've done a hell of a job with the internal cooling, the vapor chambers in this phone. It obviously doesn't have a fan like your Red Magic phones, but it rarely overheats, and that's saying a lot for a Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 that does not have a fan with it, again, like the Red Magic phones. Anyways, y'all hit me up in the comments. I got more videos coming, and sorry I was so late. I mean, they're just really, my other phones will be a little bit more, my other videos will be a little bit more exciting because it'll be phones that not many have brought to you yet. But, if y'all are watching this, I definitely appreciate it. I know there's way better videos out there that y'all could be spending your time and watching, especially after taking 20 minutes of your time. It's immensely appreciated, man. Y'all, I thank y'all. Y'all hit the like, y'all share it for me, y'all subscribe, and I will see you on the next video. Peace out.